Derek Fanton.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Catterday.
Happy Catterday. Don't want to get too far into, this is a joke between me and Derek, but here's a joke between me and Derek. So years ago, when Derek and his lovely wife Hannah were living in the apartment that we're in right now.
Living in the Bitter Coffee Studios.
There was a cat in a window.
Yes, always, at all times.
At all times.
Yep.
There's always a cat in a window.
Mm-hmm.
That's classic Winooski. And so Michelle looked at, we were pulling into the driveway, and Michelle said, "Ooh, Catterday." And I said, "Well, but it's Sunday.
Yeah.
Catunday."
Now, I would.
She figured out she solved the Rubik's Cube.
If you could run it back and please deliver in the way that Michelle excitedly delivered what her response was, please.
I will.
So she said Catterday. You said, well, it's actually Sunday.
And she said, "A Catunday." And I said, "No, well, I mean, but she, Catunday." Like, as if there was enough emphasis put on it. I'd be like, "Oh, you know what?
You're right.
Yes.
You nailed it.
Catunday." And it was like a weird,
the at the beginning is
like
really
a half
vital.
a syllable.
Yeah, to
Catunday.
delivering Catunday, but a Catunday.
And there's like a shoulder movement and like a
there's like a head like a
bob.
snake thing.
Yep,
There's
it's very serpentine-y. So Michelle was yelling that the other day.
Yeah.
It wasn't Saturday, wasn't Sunday,
or Catunday.
Wasn't Catterday or Catunday. A Catunday. It just was. So
Catunday can be any day, really. It's up to your mood and the way that you would deal with your life. It can be Catunday any day.
I think Morrissey said it best when he said, "Every day is like Catunday." So, how are you?
I am hanging by a thread. No, I'm fine. I
happen to be sharing the same thread, so
yeah, we're both
hang
hanging
on, folks.
by a thread. One of us is hanging onto the thread, the other one is hanging onto the other person's foot. It's a whole thing. It's a very cliffhanger situation right now, as is the case for everyone. I had a conversation with people at work about how to respond to that question. There's been so many. I've seen that all over the internet too. Like, how do you even respond to how are you doing right now, or for the last 2 years? And a lot of people. One of them I liked was I haven't checked recently. That's a great response that I think someone shared with me. Might have even been you. I don't remember. But yeah, hanging by a thread is the one that I've started going with, just because it's kind of true. It's been a crazy few weeks. Thank you for bearing with us for missing the episode 2 weeks ago. That was not a COVID situation there.
No.
Just some other life extenuating circumstances that we won't get into. But I'm doing well.
You're good.
I'm good. I'm feeling healthy.
Okay.
Not feeling wealthy, sadly, but not feeling wise either. The healthy part I'll take.
Say that you're wise.
I feel like
I would.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I disagree, but appreciate it. Yeah, life is good. Life is hectic. We've got some non-COVID illness at the house that we've been dealing with, and we had the favorite activity of any toddler, which is a late night trip to the emergency room.
Now you're just bragging.
I know. The kids, they bring with them so many things, especially trips to see doctors late at night.
Yikes.
No toddler, I believe, ever gets ill to an emergency room standpoint, like when the sun is out. It's just not.
No.
They're like werewolves of illness.
I don't even think that children know that that's an option.
No, I don't think so. Even if they had a cough, they started feeling coming on, they'd be like, "Oh no, it's pre-midnight. I can't.
I'm gonna wait 6 more hours."
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait till everyone is asleep. So yeah, we went and dealt with some croup, which is
there. It is
exactly. It's not as fun as it sounds. I wanna croup, baby. So yeah, that was a whole
You can
thing.
take that mic home with you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'll just replace this pop filter before I go. Yeah, but
she's good now.
She's good now. She's on the mend. She's doing her toddler thing. She's coming up with new phrases that one would not necessarily expect to come out of a toddler, which is hilarious. Not in an offensive way, just like...
Well, then I'm not interested.
So, yeah, sorry, it won't be as fun to tell on the podcast, but we were at the doctor's the other day for her 30-month appointment. All good, 50th percentiles.
Wonderful.
And she... I was pointing at the wall to distract from something that was going on at the doctor, and I was like, "There's trees over there." And she looks and she goes, "There's tree." Hang on a minute. And she walked over to the wall and like put her hand on the tree, and then she was like, "Is tree, Daddy." I was like, hang on a minute? Where did hang on a minute come from? But
do you and Hannah say that?
I mean, probably.
But it's not like a catchphrase.
Yeah, it's not like...
Right?
Well, hey, everybody, I'm home. Hang on a minute.
Right.
It's not like something that comes up all the time. So maybe somebody at daycare says it a lot. That's what we assume. Anything we can't track back to us is a daycare responsibility. But
interesting.
Yeah, so she's doing well. Hannah's recovering from a follow-on illness. Mostly at the house right now, it's just Darek nesting like a moaf.
Okay.
I've just discovered that the differences between condo ownership and home ownership are more distinct than I was expecting.
All right, walk me through that.
So, we lived in a condo for 5 years. We had what we thought were all the home things. Like we moved out of here and moved into a condo, and we're like, cool, we're going to get like adult stuff. And there's this idea that adulting is like binary, like you are a child and then you are an adult. And it can feel that way sometimes. And certainly emotionally, there's no doubt that like that's a continuum, not an event. But buying a condo and like having a home, we felt like this is adult. We are adults now. We have adult things. We got a couch. We got a new bed, like those kind of things. Well, we have the house now, and I am just, I've gone hog wild. First thing I did, bought some lawn flags. So bought a little lawn flag.
Oh.
Seasonally appropriate. So bought different flags for different seasons. Moved in.
So wait, is this the kind that you put like, I mean, obviously it's on the lawn, but like near the front stairs?
Yes, correct. So
welcome
to
spring.
Hey, you nailed it. You know exactly what we're talking about. They generally are cat themed. Following on to the cat conversation.
I think that makes
so now there's
sense.
a cat on the flag at all times, as opposed to cat in the window.
Yep. Do you have one that says Catunde?
You know what? There is a hole in the market, and that is for Catunde flags.
Santa's coming.
We're not to the point where we're changing it daily, so I don't think that would necessarily.
Then are you even owning your own home?
So you're clearly not all the way adulting.
Right.
Yeah, so that was like the first thing, and Hannah noted it. She was like, I saw you added some yard flags to the Amazon wish list. Doing a little nesting, Darek? And I was like, yeah.
Goddamn right.
You're goddamn right I am.
Yeah. It's all I have.
Had a snowblower delivered this morning. Hell yeah.
Was not ready for that.
Hell yeah.
Hard flex.
Not to toot my own horn, so to speak.
So wait,
but
not a snow blower, but a snow thrower?
Okay, so here's an interesting thing. Is there a difference? Maybe this is this week's poll that we won't put up on Facebook.
And I own an apartment building, so
yeah,
I don't know. I never know what the hell I'm talking. I have no idea.
But
fly by the seat of my pants.
So I was looking up YouTube things because I've never owned a snowblower / thrower, and I realized that there's a lot of crossover between the blowers and the throwers.
Thank you.
You were headed there, but your tea was in the way. So I don't know. My thought is that there is like this whole other category of equipment that like you kind of push it and it like it throws things out of the way. You were hovering.
Kind of. You know what? I'm gonna go.
Hovering. Okay, got it.
Right?
Yes,
like,
I agree. It's a light bell. And
it's a light bell.
So those might be throwers, like the ones that are. So you know the like carpet hoover things that aren't vacuums, but they have the tray and rollers.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the snow thrower category, where it's like kind of just brushes it out of the way, but in a more automated way than a shovel. And the snow blowers have an engine. That's just my interpretation.
I have it opposite.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so snow thrower is the
because when you blow something, it doesn't use. I mean, I think there's really strong arguments either way, but say something were to be blown.
Sure, hypothetically.
It's a lot less effort than if you were to throw it.
Interesting.
Right?
Interesting. Yes.
You know what? I use a goddamn shovel. So don't even we have a guy who comes and plows.
So that's a snow thrower.
Yeah.
Right? So isn't a snow thrower also a shovel? You pick up snow and throw it.
That's a snow shovel. You're shoveling.
Okay, but like the practice is throwing. So
I think we're getting pretty deep in the weeds on this one.
Point is, I have a new device that will keep me from having to shovel in the winter.
That's fantastic.
When it snows again, which is pretty exciting. Also winterized the lawnmower, the riding mower.
Oh.
So there's a whole argument to be made that none of this is necessary. But as a new homeowner, as someone who is nesting, I've never owned a ride-on mower. So I put some fuel stabilizer in it and threw the trickle charger on the battery.
Sure you did.
You know,
you read my mind. I was just going to ask you.
Just, weekend stuff, weekend dad things that I'm taking
Holiday
care of.
magic.
It really feels that way.
Wow.
So, so that's the story from home. Is that just really bought a new washing machine.
Oh, okay. No, that's I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
For sure.
So delivery and setup from Lowe's for the washing machine.
$16,000.
It was a lot of money. Mm-hmm. It was more money than it should have been. Mm-hmm. But it is a way better washing machine. I really think you could go to space in it. It is really high tech. Has Wi-Fi.
What?
Which I thought, well, that's dumb.
That feels very Orwellian.
Yeah, so I wasn't shopping for a Wi-Fi enabled washing machine, though people who know me think that would be a lie. But I really wasn't.
2 truths and a lie. I
swear I wasn't trying to buy a Wi-Fi enabled washing machine. But it happened to be a thing. Oh, Hannah's calling.
All right, hang on a second. Let's
pause that.
Hold for a sec.
She's still recovering, so.
All right, we're back.
Okay, we're back. Just a phone call from my wife about the garage door.
So that's not even going to sound like a pause, right?
What's it going to sound like?
It's going to sound like a constant conversation. And somebody maybe.
It was only a minute and a half that we were gone.
It's fine.
But so anyway, continuing the theme with the home, the garage door being a little bit perstickety.
You have Wi-Fi on your washer and dryer.
Yes, that's where we were headed. Okay. Wi-Fi on the washer and dryer. It seems dumb, seems unnecessary. I got so much laundry done yesterday because every time the washer was done, my phone told me. So I got an alert that said a washing cycle has completed. And I was like, cool, I'll go down and I'll go move that to the dryer. Because we once upon a time had washing machine directly in the bathroom upstairs in our condo, walk by it, every time we were in the bathroom for any reason. So it was in our purview, on our radar that the laundry needed to be changed. Now that it's in the basement, out of sight, out of mind. So the number of times that I would just leave, like for the first 3 weeks we lived there, you'd put a load of washing in. It would live there for 2 days. Then you'd run it again because it stank.
Okay.
And then you would maybe remember to put it in the dryer.
So Siri is no longer a part of the equation.
No.
Alexa is no longer a part of the equation.
Right.
Because I'm old school. I will say to Alexa,
yeah,
Alexa, set reminder for
set a reminder.
Minutes, whatever it is.
If there was a capability for me to remember to do that when the moment I put the washing in, there is not an Alexa downstairs. Maybe that would have been the remedy. But then by the time I get up the stairs, that part of my life is over. Okay. I have forgotten completely about the washing. It is not happening.
I don't know. Yeah. For me, as reliant as I am on
reminders and alarms
and AI, I think a Wi-Fi on my washing machine for me would be a bridge too far.
And I can understand that.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much information that somebody has because it's not like, now that information is gone forever. That information is stored somewhere. It is logged. Right?
Yeah. Okay. No, I completely agree. I am, as I have said before, I am too connected. My life is too connected to the internet. No, there's no denying that. I'll get emails about when the washing machine will need like a cleaning cycle. And that's more than I need the internet to know.
I think it's just too much of a connection for me.
Yeah.
And that would be the kind of thing that would keep me up nights.
Well, it hadn't previously for me, but now that we've had this conversation.
Welcome to the rest of your life.
Yeah, the big news there was not necessarily the Wi-Fi, but it was the installation of that device. So free installation, delivery and installation from Lowe's. They get there immediately. He's like, 2 problems. Like, okay, well, you just barely.
I'm fine, sir. Thank you.
Barely set this thing down in my basement. But tell me more. And he's like, well, your drain is too high. You have this extension on the old one. I can't put that on because that would technically void the warranty.
Okay.
He gave me the look. He's like, I can't put it on. It would be fine if it were on.
I see.
But I'm like, I got it.
It's all very waiting for Lefty.
Very much so. And he's like, second thing, and this happens all the time, like that doesn't help me necessarily, but he's like, I went to turn the cold water off to hook this up, and the cold water valve broke. And he's like, what happens is these are on for years and years. No one ever touches them. Calcium builds up, and then when you close it, it takes both the calcium and the seal of your valve with it as you shut it.
So what happened?
So it started leaking. He's like, if I turn this back on, it's going to leak again. So I can't finish installing this.
Okay.
You're just going to have to replace this valve. I was like, okay, I know how to unscrew a valve and screw a new one back in. And you know, so that's what I was going to do. And of course, you know, I was finishing up work for the day. I was like, I'll do this later. It's fine. I'm not going to worry about it now. Get to the point to do it, go to take the valve off, the old valve off, and it shears off in the pipe.
Oh.
So I had about 3 threads of the valve in my hand and about 4 threads of the valve in the pipe.
Okay.
And it was at this point that I just wanted to crawl into a hole because I had turned a 3-minute project into undetermined work for myself. So I did what anyone does. I called my dad and told him what happened. Mm-hmm. And he walked me through it. And long story longer, essentially I got to learn how to do plumbing. And I did some pipe cutting and some soldering and some blowtorching.
Okay.
And we now have a washer.
These are all skills for your toolbox.
Well, for my homeowner toolbox that hopefully just lives in the closet most of the time, because I don't want to have to do that stuff all the time. But it's nice to feel accomplished. While feeling like an idiot, the entire time. And of course, like all dads, he's like, "This is what you do. Here's the steps: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And
You're done."
dads will say it in a way that are shrugging. You just
you can, and I'm even doing it. You can see me just shrugging it off, just
you give that son of a bitch a quarter turn, see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah. You're going to heat it up. You know,
figure it out.
550, 680 degrees ish, you know,
Whatever
and you're going to you're going to put some flux on there. It's going to suck that solder right in. And that was not exactly how it went. And there were a couple of iterations, but
maybe some crying.
There was
maybe this is why you have so much joy when you talk about your lawn signs, right?
Yes,
because it's all happiness.
That involved putting it in the ground.
Yeah, look at me.
And there
Doing
was
this by myself. Brand new neighbor.
very little room. Like the flag's not shearing off in the pipe. Like that's
not that you're aware of.
That I'm aware of.
You know,
and as long out of sight, out of mind. And so so that was a whole thing. But again, I learned some new skills. Well, I did some things that worked. And
now your washing machine is watching you.
And now my washing machine is watching me at all
and listening.
times. I have an alert on it right now to let me know that the washing is finished.
But here's my thing. So I like the Siri, I like the Alexa, as I said.
Sure.
But anything else? I'm like, I get super paranoid.
Yeah.
Like electric cars. I'm like, okay. I don't know.
Interesting.
However, there is a magical time of year, once a year, where like, I love the fact that I'm being tracked and followed and watched.
Okay, tell me more.
You know what the time of year is? December 1st.
Okay.
Because what happens on December 1st? Oh, that's right. You're absolutely right. Spotify top playlist of the year.
Of course, your Spotify Wrapped. Yes, absolutely. That was every
I get
feed.
Giddy like a child.
Tell me about my listening.
It's here.
So, okay, and I think, and we're gonna deep dive into this. I think.
Okay.
I think it's worth.
Should really be its own show.
Really
whatever.
Look. Just the Spotify Wrapped episode. We should just like a 0.5 episode that's just the Spotify Wrapped. But let's talk about it. Years ago, when I first started listening to music on my computer, so this would be like just after college, college I had some of that, but like when I was working at IBM in particular and working nights there, I used a service called last.fm.
Okay.
It was originally called Audio Scrobbler, which is just not a good name. And to their credit, they recognized that, and they became Last.fm. And it was basically like a Spotify Wrapped all the time. Oh. It was a data aggregation of your listening that you could access anytime you wanted.
Like Pandora, sort of.
Sort of. Mm-hmm. But it was based exclusively on the data of your listening habits. Okay. And you had a profile that other people could visit.
Okay.
So it would show like what have you listened to and how many times have you listened to it and who are your top artists and top songs, all the stuff you get in Spotify Wrapped, but it was accessible to you at all times. And I
like the once a year.
Obsessive about it. And I just
want to know once a year.
My point is that that Spotify does it right. You tell you once a year and you're good to go.
Yeah.
And yes, it is very exciting. And I am also a data nerd as it relates to my listening and all that stuff. So I was also very excited to see it.
Couple questions that I have.
Okay, great.
So I had no idea, although I had some idea. Let me take that back. Let me rephrase that.
Okay.
The extent to which I listened to Dave Matthews Band, I had no idea.
So, and I commented on that.
Number 3. Is it number 3 on my list?
I don't remember. I just saw the song.
I think it might be number 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I just
it's
saw
a good
the song. Yeah. Was it Tripping Billies? Was that what it was?
No.
No.
Typical Situation.
Typical Situation. That's
Yeah.
right. I knew it was a T song. Yes. So good. So good.
What I don't get is my top artist,
Uh-huh.
Cocteau Twins.
Sure. I mean, again, not a surprise.
That's not a surprise
Yep.
at all.
Yeah.
But my most listened to song is not a Cocteau Twins song.
Yeah,
It's a
interesting.
Moby song because
Okay.
when his new release came out, I listened to it all but constantly.
Yeah, of course.
Like to the fact when I listened to it, I was like texting you like, do you even know this exists?
Yes.
And I was texting Mo Citro because she's very anti-synth when it comes to stringed instruments and like orchestrations.
Not anti-Sith. Anti-synth?
Synth.
Okay,
like
okay. Just checking
synthesized-
from a Star Wars standpoint.
Yeah,
was
no,
just
I
checking.
don't know what you're saying.
Okay, it's fine.
But I learned that it was actual musicians.
Actual strings, yeah.
It's not synth as we say in the biz. So that was my one of the songs on that album was the most listened to song.
Yep.
But my number 2 artist. So my mind was kind of blown a little bit
Interesting.
because
Yeah.
how do those things I can't square those things off.
Sure. No, I
just
completely
can't.
understand. And like the other thing that I'm having an issue with the Spotify Wrap these days is that I use my account to listen to things for Gwen as well.
Right.
So we essentially share a Spotify account, and there are some distinct elements of my Spotify Wrap that I'm like, well, that's a Gwen situation.
With the exception of one, they're all artists whose names begin with the letter J. That I noticed.
You noticed that? Yes, that is very true. And
Maybe that's just your vibe. That's fine.
and the other one, the second letter is J.
Oh,
It
Interesting.
did not occur to me until now, but that is absolutely true. So let's talk top artists. So John Bellion,
Yep.
who has come up on the show before.
Yep.
Obviously, one big catalog, so that helps, right? So like,
Okay.
if you're thinking about a shuffle, which is generally how I listen to Spotify,
Sure.
he's going to come up a lot. I was very shocked not to see Spose on here. Shout out Spose, but like,
I was surprised to not
again,
see that
big
on
catalog, lots of songs. It just must be that like some of the playlists I have aren't as Spose heavy. So John
I see.
Bellion, number 1. AJR. So this is the only non-J, though second letter is J,
Mm-hmm.
artist. Trio of brothers out of New York. Again, very John Bellion-like in terms of there's some electronic elements, there's some hip-hop and kind of soul elements to their music, etc. There's some horns. It's great. And then, yes, we get into the J's. We get the Jack Johnson, Jason Mraz, John Mayer triumphant. Very Gwen influenced there.
like that's like your CSR.
Yeah.
That's your 3 wise men.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think others of the genre would agree. Others,
Right.
fans of the genre would agree that those are the sort of the 3 go-tos. Gwen is a huge Jack Johnson fan. I was in college. I'm not as much now, but again, the Spotify is partially owned by her.
It's just all the same song.
I mean,
All
listen,
of his songs
as
are
a
the same.
as a
right?
big fan,
Just
yes.
asking.
Yeah, I mean, you could make
I
the
mean,
argument
for Christ's
for all
sake,
3
my
of those
number
guys.
1 artist is Cocteau Twins. So go ahead.
No, you're not.
You know what I
you're
mean?
not
Like
trying to throw
I'm an
dispersions.
easy target.
You're just saying. You're not saying anything. You're just saying.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that like those are mix and match as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
Okay.
But you know, I'm happy with it. And it again, I saw what I see on it was like Instagram where somebody quoted a tweet that someone was like, "My Spotify Wrapped so accurate," and the response was, "Yeah, it's literally data."
Right.
So like,
You know what? Spotify really understands
they
me.
really get me.
No, they don't.
No, you
They
understand.
do not get you, nor do they care.
Right, exactly.
But basically, they're saying is, yeah, we've been kind of watching your stuff for 364 days, but look, it's here. We can sum it up for you.
I love the idea that someone's like, well, this is what Spotify thinks. It's like, no.
No,
this is just what you listened to.
No, it's
not
just data.
It's not an opinion piece. It's just we're just delivering facts.
But there's some songs that I completely forgot about.
Oh, of course. That's
So-
what happens. End of the year, you're like, oh, right. I went through. There was a period. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I think this year's playlist is a lot less dark than last
well,
year's.
that's nice to hear.
However,
I bet
maybe not.
Yeah, I bet that it's just levels of dark. There's a grayness in the way that there was less.
Yeah.
We're so black maybe last year.
And I mean, I enjoy my shoegazer music as much as the next middle-aged gal. But I think last year there was a bit more like Joy Division, like pretty dark stuff for a little while.
Yeah, my number
a pandemic will do that to a gal.
As we all maybe have experienced.
Right?
My third song is a song called Way Less Sad.
See,
that is literally the third song
there you go.
on my playlist.
Jesus.
Number 1, Bummerland. So, it all evens out in the pandemic. Oh, man.
So Michelle and I had, I'm not going to say like a COVID scare because that sounds very dramatic.
And we're all kind of living in a state of fear.
I'm in this constant state of it's fear, it's kind of denial, and then getting tested, and then anxiety, waiting for the test to come back. And I mean, I've known you for a lot of years, and I'm not one to, how do I want to word this? I don't want to point a finger at you.
Okay.
But
all right.
I mean, I remember back during like season 1 of COVID.
Yes.
When you first got sick.
Yeah.
I remember saying, Darek is really sick.
Yeah.
And I normally don't say that about people.
No.
Like I'll say to myself, like I'll stub my toe and I'm like, well, that's it. This is how I'm going out. But with other people, it's not up to me to decide, what level of health or illness somebody is.
Right. Seems bad, but I don't know, relative to their normal health, who knows?
But that's the gauge that I now use when I consider how sick I might be. Well, Darek back in very early 2020.
Yeah, late Jan, early Feb 2020.
Yeah. You were like OG.
Oh, boy.
Pilot episode of COVID.
I was
right when the country was like, well, I don't know if we're gonna pick this up or not. I don't know.
I was there before it was the talk of the water cooler. I was there.
Yeah.
I was there in the early days. Yeah, for the pilot of the COVID show that we're all part of now.
And here we are in season 4. Is it
4-ish?
4?
I think it's at least season 4. Right.
Now this is usually in any long-term series. Season 3 or season 4 is usually the one where people are like, oh, I'm not gonna watch it anymore.
Yeah, it started to jump the shark a little
bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting fact. So I have stopped watching the news pretty much altogether.
Good for you.
And there's a channel that I have found called Pluto TV. Have you ever heard of it?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's totally free.
Okay.
Get on your TV, get on your phone, get on your whatever.
Yeah.
Pluto, like the dog.
Got it.
Or
the planet. Your choice.
Yeah.
Dealer's choice.
No connection to either one that I can figure out based on logo or genre.
Got it.
They have all these different categories of shows. And my favorite one is classic TV.
Okay.
Laverne and Shirley.
Yes.
Happy Days.
Three's
Company. Three's Company I can't watch. Because all it is, it's somebody overhearing something and then it's all just innuendo.
Constant discomfort and innuendo is that show.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So I was watching Happy Days with Michelle a couple weeks ago, and it was the episode where
was it the shark jumping
the shark.
Nice.
And I said, "Hey, Michelle, not for nothing."
DYN.
Yeah.
Or DYK.
DYK.
God, fucking spelling.
Do you know that this is where the expression came from? And she's like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." And lost my train of thought.
Wait, so that was her reaction? That was the extent of her reaction?
That was it.
Because everybody I've ever told that to is like, what?
No.
That phrase is from a Happy Days episode?
But here's the thing. I think, we're almost 11 years in. At what point does she just stop listening? She's like,
She's got a stock set of responses. Yeah, that makes sense. It's just on the list. It's like a B7. It's like that makes sense.
There's a book called Jumping the Shark.
Yep.
That came out in, I want to say, the mid to late 90s.
Yep.
I know the editor of that book, which is where I learned the phrase jumping the shark.
That's cool. Okay, so
Her name is Amanda Patton. She worked for Penguin.
Your origin story of learning that phrase is more interesting to me than the actual origin story of the phrase.
See, in the 90s, I thought it was cool for knowing that.
No, and I think
I'd throw it out and be like, oh, did you jump a shark? What?
For anyone who's like, what the hell are... So there's an episode of Happy Days.
They're in California.
And the Fonz on water skis, if I'm not mistaken, literally jumps over a shark.
Yeah.
And it was the moment that people pointed to in the show where they were like, well, that show's on the way out because what the hell is going on here? And it became the way to express when a show is sort of like getting to the point where they're grasping at straws to stay relevant.
Kind of like this episode.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Listen, this episode? The show, I feel like.
No.
But yes, we are in a place in the show that is COVID where I feel like we got to get to we're coming to a point here where like the show's just run its course. And
can't watch it
probably
anymore.
should have ended 2 seasons ago, but here we are in season 4. Yeah. Exactly.
So Michelle and I had a little bit of a COVID scare because somebody that she was in contact with had tested positive.
Yep.
And I mean, it wasn't a lot of direct contact, but these days you don't know.
We just don't know. Yeah.
And you know, with all the Greek alphabet they're throwing around, I have no idea where I am in what phase of this pandemic am I in.
At least with hurricanes, there's like a theme. Like it's a
name.
Male name and then a female name.
Hurricane
then a male
Betty.
name, then a female name. With the COVID, geez.
It makes it sound so much more serious.
Well, and I like it.
Name it after Muppets.
Yeah, rather than Transformers.
Well,
yeah, because
yes. Yeah.
The Omicron, I don't know what it's called. I can't even say it. It's too many vowels. It's hard to keep track of what may and may not be dangerous to you these days and like what your protocol should be. I go in cycles of feeling like a conspiracy theorist for wearing a mask and then like one for not wearing a mask. Like
Right.
I'm up, I'm down, I'm left, I'm right, I'm in, I'm out. You know, Katy Perry.
I don't know.
I'm hot and I'm cold. I'm yes and I'm no.
Okay.
Forget it.
Okay. No. That song I know. That song I do know. So I've taken to just watching Pluto TV.
Awesome.
I've been catching up on the Love Boat.
Oh my gosh.
But here's the weird thing. I watch Laverne and Shirley and I watch Happy Days. Man, it's just everything that they say and do is just like, as a feminist, just blows my mind.
It is.
And like as children, my
wild.
parents were like, no, watch that. That's funny.
That's a great show.
And it's just
a lot of good lessons in that show.
It's terrible. It's just it's terrible and it's racist and sexist and it's all the things. It's all the things.
It's all of the things and none of the ones you want.
So you know what I do when I watch episodes, because I'm not going to stop watching.
No, sure. Yeah.
I'm like, well, you know, this is really good for research for an upcoming paper.
Because
it's an ism, right?
Great perspective.
Racism, fascism, sexism, heterosexism.
I love the idea of all of your papers going forward just having references to like
well, you know they all
50s,
do.
60s,
you know
70s
that they
television.
all do.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Well, it's 70s songs.
Okay,
like
got it.
Cher got me through my undergrad.
As she has with so many over the years.
I'm in a list of millions. Yeah, I told you this, that I would write case studies and they were Cher songs.
Yes, you mentioned.
Thinly veiled Cher songs. I did one.
Oh. If I could turn my home.
This show is completely gone off the rails.
We never had rails.
No, you're right. You're right.
We are railless here.
So I get caught up on the Love Boat, which is like very like everybody's just basically everybody's either a survivor of or a perpetrator of sexual assault on a boat.
The Love Boat was
it's terrible.
It never like I don't feel like it ever. Well, I don't know, but it to me from a like historical lexicon perspective, like the Love Boat had like a niche in the way that like. The other ones, Three's Company, Happy Days, feel omnipresent, whereas the Love Boat was like the people who watched it were really passionate about it, but not literally everyone.
Right.
I could be wrong about that because, you know, I was watching it in syndication.
Well, the 80s were a crazy place.
So, but yeah, I feel like it's called The Love Boat.
Yeah.
First of all, which sounds like a modern reality show that would exist, and I'm shocked does not.
Yeah. Ooh, we should write that down. Right?
The new Love Boat, very different than classic Love Boat.
I watch that. I watch Happy Days, which is, oh my God, it's so difficult to watch. Laverne and Shirley, like
Yeah.
I can't even get started on that.
Well,
It's
there's that
nuts.
there's that new movie about Lucille Ball in terms of like I Love Lucy, and like there were a lot of issues with that show as well. But the
Yeah.
whole like other side of the coin that was about that show was that like ultimately she was trying to kind of fight back against a lot of those stereotypes, and it was seen as very out of place, but only to a point. Like
Right.
only to a place that would still be uncomfortable now. Like we never got to a comfortable level with that show.
They just genuinely didn't seem to like one another.
Right. Yes,
right?
exactly.
And didn't they divorce and then remarry?
Yeah, there was
on
a
the
whole
show?
thing
There
with
was a whole thing.
the reality of their relationship and then the show relationship, and yeah.
Like at least Fred and Wilma kind of got along every once in a while, right? And Barney and Betty, they did, but
I mean, he'd hit her
the
over the head with a club
Ricardos-
from time to time and drag her through the house. But other than that,
the Ricardos, they never got along. Fred and Ethel hated one another.
Totally, yeah.
Hated one another.
Yep.
But, here
And people
I am.
are like, hilarious.
Oh my God.
It's so relatable.
Like the honeymooners, that was just like legit domestic violence.
Right. I mean, the whole catchphrase of that show was about punching her in the face someday, was it not?
In like their studio apartment.
Yeah. Bang Zoom to the moon was not like, they were not talking about space exploration.
Poverty and domestic violence. Yeah, I could go on and on, but I won't because, this is a lighthearted show.
Pluto TV, purveyor of horrible
Thank you for
past.
Pluto TV for reinforcing why I am going to grad school. But there is one thing that I watched, and there are two things that I swore I would never do.
Okay.
That's subscribe to Disney TV
Okay.
and watch any documentary about the Beatles.
Oh, no. Well,
Both happened, my friend. Okay. This could and probably will be its own show in the future.
Okay.
Because I can only watch, I'm on the first episode of the 3-part series.
Okay. I've been saving it, by the way.
Okay.
I'm trying to save it to like possibly just like binge it one whole day.
I'm going to spoiler alert a little bit.
That's fine.
But it's probably something you already know.
I'm on
because
TikTok,
you're a Beatles fan.
and there's a lot of this. It's been on TikTok a lot.
So the first episode,
Mm-hmm.
it's maybe like an hour in, and I'm like, I've been watching the Beatles for almost an hour.
Right, which is already shocking to you.
And like just like their body language and how they relate to one another or don't relate to one another.
Yeah.
Like I find that fascinating.
Totally.
And despite not liking their music, although like a lot of their early music is it's you and I've had this conversation, it's children's songs, it's nursery rhymes.
Yep.
But when they got into their older stuff.
That's Kelly Coffey, resident of Winooski, Vermont. Views expressed by Kelly Coffey on the shows are not necessarily the views of everyone on Bitter Coffee. Keep going. Keep going. I'm just trying to protect myself. And my family.
No, and I think you should. I'm not gonna take you down with me. But I appreciate the creative process. That stuff I like watching.
Absolutely, and that's again apparently from
It's
what
insane.
I've heard, a lot of that in this.
So the
footage.
one thing I'm going to give away,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just mentioned the other day on a conference call I was on.
Oh,
Paul McCartney. It's an hour in.
yep.
He's just writing.
Oh, is this when he writes Get Back? Yes. Oh my God. That's
and you
so
want to
funny.
know why he wrote it?
I-
Because John Lennon was late. So they were just like sitting around waiting for him.
Yeah, because I've
And
seen some of that footage on TikTok, and it's just
Ringo
him.
wasn't even on the drums.
Yeah, it's just him and George and Ringo, and they're just sitting, and like George has a guitar, but Ringo's just sitting there.
On his bass.
Yeah.
On his
and then
left-handed
Paul's
bass.
on his bass, just banging away at stuff.
It's crazy.
I watched it.
That creative
3
process.
times.
I can't get past it. You
Yeah.
want to know why?
Yeah.
Because every time I'm like, let me continue watching this. I rewind
You
it.
want to see that again. Yeah.
And I want to see it again.
Yeah, it's the like organic
It's
creation.
nuts.
So so not to compare the Beatles to John Bellion. I'm not doing that. Just
Okay.
to put that up front. But one of the things that got me into John Bellion was that when he did his first couple of albums, he taped the entire sessions
Yep.
of the recording, and he put YouTube videos out for each song, and they were edited clips of the birth of the songs. It was him in the studio banging away on a piano, and then you hear him hit the chords. And
That's
that's
what I like.
exactly what the Get Back clip is it's Paul just like and I guess this is how songwriters work. I'm fascinated by songwriting and the idea of things just kind of coming to you. But he's just sort of like humming and strumming and just and like you can hear the birth of it and hear it happen. And then like George starts strumming along a little bit too, and like Ringo's kind of banging on his knees, and like it's the birth of a song that you've heard, you know, depending on your affinity for the Beatles, hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands of times, it happening in real time. And I saw something from Peter Jackson being like, how did this get cut? Because there was another documentary that was made from this same footage that apparently no one liked. And so this has existed.
Probably weren't Beatles fans.
Probably.
I was probably involved
Probably
in that process.
Kelly Coffee camp on
Should
the Beatles.
this go anywhere? Nope.
Nah, it sucks.
Nope.
But like,
put on the Love Boat.
is Laverne and Shirley on?
God damn it.
So, but he had said like this existed and he was shocked that he had never seen it. And I think there's going to be a lot of that in this, and I'm excited to check it out. I've been reading more about it as I've sort of been like putting off watching it. Yeah. So I'm psyched that you're watching it.
I saw this one other time. Again, not a fan of this band, but again, their creative process really fascinates me. U2.
Okay, sure.
So they were in the studio.
I'm on the train, the
recording their album
train with you on this one. Yeah.
And they were like hours away from like severing their relationship as a band.
Okay. Yep.
And they were just sitting in the studio and they had this extra time. They were like, again, waiting for something. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, they're in the in-between spaces. Yep.
And so they were playing music, and then Bono just started singing, and then all of a sudden, like you can almost see their body language change. Like something clicked.
Yeah.
And it was the song One.
Oh, it's fucking wild.
Which I always thought was a cover song for some reason.
Interesting.
I don't know why. So they're singing along, they're playing along, and all of a sudden they were like, oh, this is actually happening.
This is happening, right.
And then that was like, you know, the biggest single on that record.
That's
and,
so crazy.
you know, they reached a whole new audience, and, you know, whatever.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, you know, not to put too fine a point on it, but I guess if there were a camera here right now,
right. Yeah.
it'd be the same kind of thing.
Totally. I mean, what iconic moments that will live on forever are we creating right now?
Right. Like your washing machine story. That's our get back for all we know. Right?
Jojo was a man who needed some clean laundry.
Nope.
Doesn't know how to weld shit.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right.
No. I'm not that much of a Beatles fan.
I was just checking.
I know, and I think it's good. You know,
resonated.
thank you for, you know, putting that litmus test out there. I'm not that much of a Beatles fan yet.
Well, maybe we'll get you to that point. I don't think the documentary is going to turn you into a Beatles fan necessarily, given your strong feelings. But, you know, I'm psyched that you're watching it, because I had actually thought, I wonder if Kelly will watch this, even though I know she is not.
She sure will.
The Beatles.
Yep.
Cool.
Because I can't watch the news anymore.
No, I understand.
I can't. And
I
those of
completely
you
understand.
who are listening from the comforts of your home, I'm rubbing my forehead.
There's a
like more
forehead-
than usual.
Yeah, there's a
right?
forehead temple massage situation happening in response to the thought of this.
So-
Well, in light of that, in being delivered messages that are more full of joy, but perhaps equally of anger, should we get into the Chang Report?
Oh my goodness, yes.
So our friend Tim Chang is back. He, interestingly, like 3 weeks ago, he told us he had an episode for us, and then just never sent it, which was interesting. You and I both were like, do we have a Chang Report in the can that we just don't remember?
No.
And then I messaged him and he was like, oh, right. Yeah, let me send that over to you. So we have that now. I'm going to bring it up. Tim's indication to me was that I'm going to need to start this at a lower volume, which means that Tim thinks he's going to somehow fix my inability to play an episode at the right volume.
Oh.
Which is, you know, more power to him. I don't think it's gonna work.
That is precious, Tim.
But we're gonna try it. And so let's get into the Chang Report and see what Tim has for us this time around.
3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff.
Love it already.
Speaking of the 80s.
Yeah, those synths.
Sorry, Mo Citro.
It's like an electric flute. I love it.
Flautist. An E-flautist.
The Chang Report.
Great every time.
All right, listen. I got a hot take. I got a hot take for you. It's a bit caliente. You may want to call in the burn unit in advance, because this one could sting a bit.
Done.
And I'm not trying to upset or offend anybody.
That's something
Generally.
people should never say.
But I got to get this one off my chest. I would like to submit that grocery shopping a year ago was incrementally better than it is right now.
Preach.
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to
Speak
tell
at
you
it,
why.
my brother.
Cosign.
So the other day I was at the grocery store and got to the end of an aisle. And I went to make a turn into the adjacent aisle, which had to be done a bit wider than usual because of the inexplicable Ritz cracker end cap display. That was like right next to the pancake mix.
What you
I'm
baking?
not sure makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. That's
I'm not sure people are making, some
Ritz
chocolate chip
pancakes.
pancakes and they think, you know what could go on here? That would be nice. Nice Ritz. Just crumble up some Ritz,
Buttery
throw it on top
cracker.
of my supple chocolate chip pancakes. I hope
for
that made you
texture.
appropriately uncomfortable.
Supple. Tough
So I
word.
turn the corner, albeit widely. And as I proceed down the aisle, there is a woman in this aisle facing me.
Yeah, that happens now.
Oh,
And the
boy.
reason
Yeah.
that I say a year ago this would have been so much better is that we were still dealing with one-way aisles in
Yep.
the grocery store.
Yeah.
Which initially I was not a fan of, but I still find myself doing the same route I had to do when they were one-way.
Right.
Great. You got to go down an aisle you don't necessarily want to go down to get the other one, but everybody's moving in the same direction.
Yep.
Get some steps in.
There's a flow
Yeah,
of
right?
traffic. There
You
was
never
some
know what you might
a
miss by
semblance of
skipping an
order
aisle.
and understanding as far as how we conduct ourselves in the grocery.
The grocery.
In the grocery.
So anyway, turn the corner. I begin down the aisle, and I look up, and this woman is standing there in the middle of the aisle with her cart,
Oh, God. I hate the grocery store.
just staring at the croutons. Croutons,
Croutons.
if you're fancy. And she's just examining these things like she's never seen a crouton before in her entire life.
What decision
Side
points
note,
are there with
I think we
croutons?
can all agree
lot.
that if you are a crouton eater, take croutons on your salad.
Mhm.
If for some reason those croutons are soggy,
Oh.
a bit mushy,
Oh, boy.
I put it on the same scale of God damn it as when you pull your laundry out of the dryer and you realize somewhere along the line you've lost a single sock. I feel it's like the same level of like, shit.
I thought I was going to say it's still a
Anyway.
little damp. That's the worst.
So she's
Hate that.
That is
in
the
a
worst.
deep mind state about these croutons. And I begin to slow my pace a little bit because I figure, all right, she's trying to make a selection, so I'm going to give her some time. I'm not going to rush her.
It's a big choice.
Uncouth.
Yeah, apparently.
All right, we're both in this grocery store is for both of us, despite your positioning in this aisle. I'll let that go. So I look over, and I'm like examining something. It was like confectionery sugar or something. Nothing I
Nothing you
even
needed. Yeah.
but I was just sort of playing along to be like, oh, whoa, this looks nice. I might grab that. I'm not sure. Really didn't need any of it. Just trying to buy her some time.
Not a lot of frosting making.
Fortunately,
The
that
Chang
only
household.
bought me about 2 seconds because we were very close to each other. And she seems to be completely unaware that I am directly in front of her.
People get blinders on at the grocery store. It is
So
a
I waited for a
problem.
moment.
Especially in the crouton aisle.
She doesn't budge
Cretins in the croutons.
due to the crouton hypnosis that appears to be going on. So I said, ever so politely, excuse me. Like you do.
Like one does.
Like a courteous fellow shopper would do.
I can't wait for the reaction.
So she snaps out of it, out of her crouton-induced daze, looks at me, says, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Crudotonic.
That's
There you
okay.
go.
Yes.
No worries. Nice guy,
Crudotonic episode.
mostly.
Crudotonic.
She grabs her cart and slides it over. I'm going to estimate about an eighth of the length of the fuzz on a bumblebee. We are no less directly in front of each other. And she is no less blocking the entire aisle from me and anyone else. So here we are in this game of cart chicken that we don't seem to be able to get out of. I think her crouton-induced psychosis may have disrupted her spatial awareness or something.
Love you, Tim.
But the problem here is that as she gripped her cart to move it, I was under the apparently unreasonable assumption that she was going to move out of the way.
So you
Which turned
began
out to not be the case.
began rolling, didn't you, Tim?
That when she grabbed her cart to move it over, I began moving forward, not realizing that I was basically just going to smash my cart into hers. So our game of cart chicken has now become bumper carts.
Demolition
And
derby.
she appears to be upset. So, once again, as the nice guy I am, I say, "I'm so sorry. My apologies." And then
Oh boy.
we engaged in a delightful staring contest.
Oh.
Jeez. It's still her move.
For about that long. Okay. It wasn't even remotely uncomfortable at all. So then she makes a very exaggerated gesture to shove her cart to the side
Perfect.
as I move past her.
Rage carts. Love it.
So then I get down to the other end of the aisle. I get what I'm looking for.
I know where
and
this
I'm
is
like,
going.
All right.
It's going to the next aisle.
On the straight and narrow, and there is no more obstructions to be had in my shopping experience. Boy, was I wrong. So later in this shopping excursion, I was looking at sauces, as I am a big fan of condiments, as previously noted in prior
Yep.
installments of this segment. And I'm sitting there, cart out of the way, standing back from the shelf so that people may freely
Yes.
pass by me.
Preach, Tim.
And this fella comes shuffling in, the kind of guy wearing slides, sweatpants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you can just hear him shuffling around
Yep.
the entire store.
Yep. Shuffling wherever
Sir,
he
I'm
needs
going to
to
have to ask you to pick up your feet at some point.
Thank you.
Yes. Please. Your
He
knees
comes
work.
shuffling around as I'm looking at all of these condiments and just stops directly in front of me. I am now staring at the back of this man's head as if I wasn't even there. It becomes very difficult to see things when there's someone standing directly in front of you.
I feel like you were targeted in this grocery store trip, Tim.
So I moved off to the side a little bit.
Feels like a hate crime.
A little bit.
And once I had located what I was looking for, I began to move in for the kill. Not him. I mean, just, condiments. Everybody relax.
It crossed your mind. Don't deny it.
So I move in. I grab the barbecue sauce I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And as I do this, the man who makes a better door than a window basically hip checks me,
Oh, jeez.
See, I was
causing me
right.
to fall off
Aggression.
balance and become jostled because he had absolutely no idea I was there. I was literally standing 3 feet from this man.
Wow.
God, the
And he looked right
ability
at me when he
people to
shuffled
be
into the
oblivious.
aisle in the first place.
Oh, jeez.
And I got a, oh, sorry, man, I didn't see you there. You didn't see me where? You didn't see me when I was standing right here? You didn't see me when you came shuffling on in here? Oh, shh, shh, shh. When you came rolling on in here and you looked at me in the face with your face, you didn't see me. Interesting.
Interesting.
Anyway, this
Agree
is
to
all the
disagree.
evidence to support the fact that I think grocery shopping last year
Yeah.
was so much better than it is right now.
Yes.
Because apparently everybody's just forgotten how to be a person.
A person. Yes, absolutely.
So in summary, I would say, when you are out in the public, stop and think. Consider your fellow human. Give them space where possible. But most importantly, if you insist on wearing slides to the grocery store, pick up your goddamn feet. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you very much. This has been a public service announcement.
Yet another powerful PSA
I love that
from
Tim.
Dr. Tim
I
Chang.
love Dr. Tim Chang. I love the lessons that we learn at the end of each and every Chang report.
I know that each Chang report that I listen to, it makes me a better person.
I 100% agree. And I hope that it has that impact on our. Now, I will say that our listeners, I'm assuming, and I can, let's assume that our listeners are already above average people.
Okay.
Because they're listening to the show. And
That's what I'm saying.
right away, they're already at an upper echelon in terms of peopling. But there's always room for improvement. There's continuous improvement available in all of our lives at all times. And I think that Tim is really helping us all even be, widen the gap between the average citizen and the Bitter Coffee listener. And so thank you for that, Tim.
Thank you for that.
I have also, the grocery store is one of my least favorite places to be. And I, as someone with an excess of spatial awareness for myself, find it incredibly frustrating to be at the grocery store. Have I shared the song that I sing to myself and sometimes out loud? I developed a song in high school.
Oh.
When the hallway and doorway standers, the people who would stand in a doorway and talk to people that, these people exist still to this day. We have a few of them at work.
Well, they're the same people that did this in high school.
They've just aged slightly. The song is called "You're the Only Person."
Oh.
And those are the only lyrics. And the melody is ba-na-na-na-na-na. So it's "You're the only person." That's the song I sing
That's
to
the
those
song.
people.
Okay.
Because evidently they believe that they are the only person.
So they would need their own theme song.
Yeah, exactly. So I can hear it when I see. So as soon as Tim described the woman in the middle of the aisle with her cart, as though there aren't probably hundreds of other people in the store that
Right.
may need to be in that aisle at some point. Her belief that she's the only person exists, and therefore nobody else does. And so I relate to this incredibly hard. I think like there was a Chris Rock skit years ago about him fake kicking people.
Oh.
Where he was doing some kind of documentary and they were following him around, and it was earlier on in his career, and he was talking about the fact that he also just feels like people don't understand that they're in the way constantly. And so there was a whole edited together clip of him fake kicking people in the back of the knees where he would be behind them, they'd be in the way, and he would just like really angrily kick, like not actually touch them, but just to
Right.
get his anger out, he would like fake kick them in the back of the knees. And they cut together a whole bunch of him doing that. And it warmed my heart because I feel that way. That rage in me builds whenever I am in public in like a confined space.
I will say
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of crouton choices.
In her defense,
Yeah, I mean, just to, play devil's advocate a little bit.
do we need that many seasoned cube stale breads?
No.
I agree.
No.
Are we in a place?
But there's a lot.
I know. Well, I know. I feel the same way about coffee's different, I guess. But like
Salad dressing. Basically anything to do with a salad.
Salads are the problem.
That's the problem.
I think we've hit on it. The salad industry, big salad,
Yep.
is really ruining
Salad.
our grocery experience.
Big pharma, big salad.
Yeah.
Both equally,
Equally
necessary.
detrimental. Sure.
but
sure,
detrimental.
I guess.
Yeah.
But
Like, how do you? Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. That's what I'm gonna blame it on, and also ice cream. I mean,
oh gosh, it's gotten out
Like
of
cereal.
hand. Yeah, cereal. I mean, cereal was kind of the first one of these, I think.
Yeah.
Like I remember as a kid being overwhelmed by the cereal aisle.
it would take me 45 minutes
Absolutely.
to pick out a box of
As
cereal.
well it should, because there were a lot of good options. But there were like 4 salad dressings. And I don't know that
Italian,
I don't know if I could direct you to a box of
French,
croutons when I
Russian,
was a kid. Yeah.
and I don't know.
Italian, French, Russian, ranch.
That was it. Did they have ranch? I don't think they had ranch when I was
mean,
a
it
kid.
wasn't the thing it is now, that's for sure. Ranch
No.
has its own
Yeah. That
stratosphere
should
now.
have its own aisle. But here's the thing. I think if there was somebody in the middle of the ranch dressing aisle,
Yeah.
I would just go to another aisle.
I'll come back for ranch.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You'll be there for a little while. I'm going to want the same time
Right, yes.
that I'm allotting to
Exactly,
you
yeah.
to choose my ranch
Yeah.
dressing options.
What's a trip to the store without a bottle of ranch?
Right.
Yeah.
We are coming up on our 50th episode.
Oh shit, that's right. Yes,
Mm-hmm. So I
we
think
are.
This is episode number 48.
Okay.
I believe.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Not being a numbers gal, as we know. But I think we should probably. I don't know if the 50th episode is going to be at the same time because I can't think of the word. Parallel?
Okay.
Simultaneously occur? There we go. The same time as our holiday episode.
Oh, ooh.
Right?
It may. It
So
certainly
today,
may.
let me see. So 2 weeks, I have to add 28 days to this. No, it won't.
It'll be before, right?
I don't know. I have no idea.
It'll be around the same time.
Okay.
It'll be in the vicinity.
Okay. Maybe we can do like an extra holiday episode or
so-
an extra 50th episode.
That
I'm
would
going
be
to stop
kinda
saying
fun.
the word episode now.
The 1st of January would be the next recording day. Or not, would be the one after holidays. Because we got the 18th.
Yep.
A little behind the scenes, it's the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the 18th would be the next recording. And then the 1st.
Our show is a Saturday record date, Wednesday upload date, and
case you
we
were
pride
curious.
ourselves on that.
And by we, Kelly specifically is very good about the consistency there in a way that I never was.
I do my best.
So
I don't have a baby at home.
listen, I
know
didn't
what I
have an
mean?
excuse when we first started this show. Yeah, so if you're ever curious, it's a Saturday record, Wednesday upload.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you're not subscribed to the show, you happen to be a new listener or a longtime listener who gets it, listen to it how you listen to it, and we appreciate you. But think about subscribing to the show if that's the thing you wanted to do. We haven't made that shout out in a while. We love this. We're going to continue to do it regardless of if anyone is listening.
Yeah, I don't care.
But we'd love you to share the show and subscribe to the show, and thank you everybody who does that and who has sent us pictures and things like that. But yes, we should. Well, let's think about when we want to do I think the holiday
figure it
episode
out.
will be next time, and then we're going to enter into potentially the next season of the show.
Season 5.
Is the 50th episode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because that would have to be. Oh, I can't have an odd number beginning an episode. Because I think that happened last season. And
Beginning of season? Yeah.
it was like number 41. It jars me awake in the middle of the night. Things just don't
I
seem
also
like,
love the idea of none of our seasons being the same number of episodes. That would make me
fine.
happy.
I was trying to do 10. Who knows? But speaking of people who listen to our podcast, it showed up in my Spotify Wrapped.
Nice.
I listened to 4 episodes for a total of 31 minutes.
Of our own show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I listen to it enough when I edit the show.
Exactly. You've got to listen to it enough.
I'm not going to listen to it.
No,
you
why
know,
would
like,
you?
oh, yeah, I remember when I said that. You know what I mean? It just doesn't.
No, as I've talked about before, the only thing I do when I listen to our show is go, God, that's where I should have said that. This is right. That's what I should have
exactly
said
why I
right
don't
there.
listen to it.
Yeah, it's painful.
Because I'll just rewrite the show.
Right.
As I'm
Retcon
listening.
our own podcast.
Exactly. And I can't do that. I do want to give a little bit of a shout out to a new podcast that I found courtesy of you.
Okay.
And I don't think we talked about this one. We talked about 60 songs.
Yes, that explain the 90s.
But have you listened to Bandsplain?
Bandsplain. I did because I was telling you about the Cocteau Twins
Cocteau
episode.
Twins.
Yeah.
I am obsessed.
It's a good show. It's a good show.
Like they get into just such minute detail about a song.
Right.
And then I'll listen to that song, or they'll play that song.
Or they'll play it because it's
and I'm like,
Spotify.
oh my God, I never noticed this before.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's great. Great show.
The Cocteau Twins episode, it's like legit 4 hours long.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, they're not
Including the
shy.
songs.
Yeah, they're
You know
not
what I mean?
shy about like, well, this episode's 2.5 hours. So be it.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yep.
Because I was looking at the clock now and I'm like, you know what? We're just going to mansplain it. We're going to end the show whenever the
when
hell
it's done,
we
it's done.
feel like it.
Yep.
Because I usually like around the 50-minute mark, I'm like, oh, we should start wrapping this up.
You can see the wrap-up sign blinking in your head. Yeah.
But you know what? I can't live my life like that anymore.
No, I hit play on the Chang Report and it was like 12 minutes. And I was like, yes.
There you go.
Bring it.
No, we're going to do what we want.
Yeah.
That being said, I did want to give a shout out to a few listeners.
Yep.
Jamie, who lives up the street. He's my friend and neighbor who lives up the street. A woman at a grocery store. I don't know if he was met with the same level of resistance that Dr. Chang was. However, a woman at a grocery store, I believe she worked there, asked him his age. Maybe he was buying alcohol or something. I don't know.
Wasn't just a random.
Didn't believe that he was his age.
Oh.
Until he removed his bitter coffee hat. So it's a youth enhancer. So
Know this, folks out there who have yet to send us a photo.
So
of
shout
you and
out
your
to
hat.
Jamie and your youthful appearance in your bitter coffee.
Takes
hat.
10 years off.
Want to say hi to Hody B, longtime listener.
Hody B.
You want to put some echo on that?
B. Hody B.
There we go. John Comer.
Yes.
He got his hat?
John got his hat down there in North Carolina.
I think that might be my fave pick so far.
John does not take a bad pick, can I just say?
Would John be opposed to, not my El Diablo, my other John, would John Comer be opposed to us hanging that photo here in the studio?
Opposed? Absolutely not.
Okay.
I can only imagine he would be extremely enthused. John, if you feel differently, please let us know.
We're gonna have to
but
do that.
I think that's a great idea.
Want to say hi to my next door neighbors and friends, Lisa and Charlie.
Hey, Lisa and Charlie.
New listeners of the show, fairly new
Fantastic.
listeners, but Charlie reps the show hard with his bitter coffee hat.
When you move into the atmosphere,
That's it.
You gotta, it comes over you.
And they did ask like, oh, are we mentioned in the show? And I was like, I don't think so. And then I thought about it later. I was like, oh no.
Did I?
Did I? Like before they moved in.
Yeah,
or like neighbors.
Were
that-
you not specific about which
No,
neighbors?
I don't think
Like,
so, because
I
they're
think
wonderful.
You're fine.
Want to say hi to Lisa Chang.
Yes.
Have to have her on the show.
Hey, Lisa. Yeah, we got to get you back maybe on the mic this time when you come back again, not like in the other room like you were last time. You were
Like
on the show.
far away mic.
Yeah.
Kitchen mic.
Maybe we don't do it. That's how you appear on the show. You appear at a distance.
Maybe.
I like that idea.
And new listeners, Joel and Beth, who just started
Thanks for
listening this
listening,
week.
Joel
So
and Beth.
thank you so much.
Love it.
What else you got? Anything?
I have been Spotify wrapped at this point.
Yeah,
I am
same.
feeling like we've exhausted all topics.
I have like a page and a half left to write on a
I saw
final
you
paper.
typing away when I got here.
Did you see that I was talking to myself as I was writing?
but I respect it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was trying to figure out if what I was typing was actually making sense.
Oh, well, that's helpful.
Right?
Helpful to do it out loud.
Because you get into that weird, like, oh, I'll figure it out later. I'm like, no.
If there were cameras on me when I was fixing the broken washing machine installation situation, you would have thought I was an absolute maniac because I was narrating every single thought that went through my head to try and talk myself through that.
See, that makes sense.
I think that talking, I read my stuff that I write all the time out loud because then sometimes I'll be like, wait, what? No, that's not right. And I'll change it. So respect to you. That's the way to do it.
Thanks, man. Let's say hi to our sponsors. Let's
do
thank
it.
them for the sponsoring.
What with the sponsoring,
What with the
which
sponsoring
again, as
and
a
all.
reminder, is just things we like. Is not
exactly.
there is no reciprocation in
Do
terms
people
of
actually ask that?
compensation. I have again had people be like, "You have sponsors on your show?"
Just
and
say, "Yeah, we do. So
Well,
then you're
I just-
business.
I feel obligated.
Then you're
to
GD
be like-
business.
That's true. I should just say yes.
How do you get to be a sponsor? Well, if you're a sponsor, then you could figure it out.
If you were a sponsor, you wouldn't have to ask that question, would
I
you?
want to say hi to every single person at Doggy Styles Pet Grooming.
Yes, absolutely.
They are located at 925 Roosevelt Highway in Colchester. which is exactly 1.3 miles from where you and I are sitting right now.
Oh, good to know. Not that you've checked.
Support your local business.
Yes.
Bring your dog there.
Let's
Buy him some
support
clothes and
business.
some leashes and some stuff.
Nice.
You can reach them by text or email at 802-654-7387.
Shout out to businesses I can text and will text me back.
I know.
So great.
Well, there's a lot of reasons why I love Doggy Styles, but the whole reason why I continue to support that business is because they're so non-intrusive.
Yeah.
There's not a phone call. There's a text to remind you.
Yep.
And then there's after you leave,
Right.
maybe like a day or two later, hey, did you want to schedule Poppy's next nail appointment?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
I do. Thank you.
As a matter
for
of fact,
reaching
I
out.
do.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to pick up a phone more often than not.
No.
Right?
Absolutely.
They're lovely.
Good.
They're absolutely lovely.
Wonderful.
I have to find our other sponsor because I wasn't prepared. So just vamp for like 10 seconds. Or like 40.
Okay, yeah, this is a lookup situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we were just talking about businesses that would text you, and it's very interesting these days. I had a snowblower delivered. Don't know if I flexed on that yet or not.
Yeah, no, you did.
Well, I'll just mention it again. And our address is a little bit confusing because it's one of those situations where you actually have to turn onto a different road than our address is. So it's a little confusing for people. Everybody goes by our house because they're like, oh, I assumed there'd be a driveway that I turned onto that is your address, but instead I have to turn onto a road and then your driveway. But he called when he left the store. He called when he was half an hour away. And then he called me again to say, I think I'm at your place, but I might have gone by it. And I was just like, in any other situation, if somebody called me 3 times about a service that I was trying to get, I'd be so pissed. But in this instance, I was like, this is really great service.
Fair
and then
enough.
he pulled in and he was like, well, sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure I was at the right place. Didn't want to drop this off somewhere. I'm sure I've dropped stuff off at the wrong house before. And I was like, listen, I don't need to know your business, man.
Is that like a delivery guy joke?
I don't think so. I think he
Okay.
was just really he was serious. He's like, I now call everyone because I was worried that I was at the wrong house and I didn't want to leave your expensive piece of equipment
I see.
elsewhere.
I see.
I was like, I didn't ask follow-ups. I'm like, tell me more about the things you think you've left at the wrong house from Home Depot. Did you track it down?
I think if I were a delivery person, like that would be my joke.
I was just going to leave this next door, but I figured, I'll give you a buzz.
Yeah, and I would say that probably all day long.
Yeah, to every
well,
single person.
like when I go to stores and stuff, I'm like, oh, it's a stolen credit card.
Yeah. Yes.
Like that's my thing. But sorry. That's like my one. It's the one joke that I think is really funny, but nobody thinks it's funny.
But what's
Especially
great,
this time of year,
right, the holidays.
nobody finds it. Nobody finds it.
What's
funny.
great though, you just keep doing it. And that's what I love about you, Kelly. You're like,
Every
I don't
single
care
time.
that
I don't care.
anyone else finds this funny.
Nope.
No, it's part of my bit. It's part of my set.
It is.
And I'm leaving it in.
Thank you. I found the information that I needed.
You're welcome.
Is it obvious that I'm not going to say my head's not in the game. I'm not going to say that, but it just, I don't know. I'm feeling, I don't
You're
know.
still writing a paper. You're writing a paper.
That's where I am.
While we're sitting here
Yeah.
doing the podcast, and that's okay.
But let's give a big thanks to Green Mountain Foster Bikes.
Yes, indeed.
They're giving rebuilt and donated bikes to foster kids in Vermont. They're located where, Derek? That's right. 10 North Main
Virginies.
Street in Virginies. Also home of Little City Cycles, a place to find your new friend in a magic bike. You can find them at 802-877-3000. I think it would be a cool idea. I never got a bicycle for Christmas.
Really?
I never got a bicycle for
wow.
Christmas. I got a bicycle one year for my birthday in February.
Yep.
Okay, great.
yeah.
So it's going to sit in storage for
Taunt
3
you
months.
for 3 months.
Yeah. But it was a red, white, and blue Evel Knievel bike. I know.
Oh my.
It was amazing.
I mean, you've described it as amazing.
It was the most patriotic thing I think I've.
Streamers?
Oh my God. Come on.
It's even a patriotic
Come
bike
on.
without streamers.
And I went like above and beyond. Yeah, I had the streamers.
Sure.
I had the orange flag on the back.
Nice.
And on holidays, I would put like crepe paper through the spokes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah, I wasn't messing around. It was like sparkly, like the seat was sparkly. Yeah, it was a banana seat.
But that was a February birthday bike.
Yeah.
And so you're thinking, like, are you looking for a Little City Cycle right around holidays? Is that what you're getting at here?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Not me. No.
But for someone.
But for
perhaps.
someone. I don't know. I always think
pay
it'd be
that
really
forward.
cool to like get a bike for Christmas. Because you see it on TV and stuff, but you don't really see it.
But I mean, similar problem to the birthday bike, right? Like, here's a bike. You won't be able to ride it unless you're in, the West Coast or Florida or something. But,
or in another land.
but if you're looking for a holiday bike,
That's where you're
Little
gonna
City
go.
Cycles. Yep.
Derek, thank you. I know
you,
I'm a little
Kelly.
bit disjointed today emotionally, because that's just where I am today.
I appreciate your joints wherever they may lie.
Take care, everybody. We will see you coming up, episode 49.
Yeah.
It's our 50th episode Eve episode, so who knows what the heck's going to go on there. And we will talk to you guys in 2 weeks.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.